All right. Hello, hello. Happy Friday, everybody. I'm getting my comments pulled up here so we can follow along. Isn't it a gorgeous Friday? Man, the sun is shining. It is just beautiful outside. All right. If you're live with me, give me a hi, hello in the comments so I know you're here. There, we got it. Okay, I would love for you to chat with me in the comments if you're joining me live. If you are watching this as replay later, no worries, life happens, and that's perfectly fine. You can go back and watch all of our videos as a replay. Not a problem at all. So, yeah, I'm super excited it's Friday. Hey, Kimberly, good to see you. Now that I'm all situated here, man, it is just beautiful outside. I said that a second ago, but I really just want to go outside after this. And I think that's what I'm going to do. Man, today was a really good day. I had a lot of amazing things happening today. I got to speak with two private coaching clients that I'm working with on their business and their marketing. And man, today with both of them, it was like the moment that you start to see that turn of events or that little bit of results coming in and it really solidifying the work that you're doing. And I know you guys get that as business owners. Man, it is a lot of work to get to where we're going. There's a lot of different moving parts that we have to be in charge of. And just to see both of them on the same day on a beautiful Friday, hitting this stride where they feel really great about what they're doing and what they're putting out, it is just an incredible feeling to be the person who's helping them. So I'm really on top of the world today. Yeah, what I've really realized through, building my own business and coaching other business owners and freelancers with theirs, that it is not the one thing, right? We all kind of want to go and find teachers that will show us like that one thing that makes such a difference and just makes your business so great. But what I've really realized over the years is that it's not a one thing kind of situation. There's not just one thing that'll just be the thing that does it, that makes everything perfect, right? Or that makes all the things click. What I've realized instead is it's the sum of all the little things, right? You have to do your pricing and your policies and all your different pieces. And it's really the sum of all of those things together that end up making the difference and end up turning the tables so that you do start to see those results. So today was an incredible day to watch that kind of fold over of events for two different people I'm working with. Oh, Kimberly, I'm so glad you're watching outside. I thought about doing it outside, and then, the minute I step outside, I have dogs all over the place and they're kind of crazy. So this one's maybe a little bit safer. Just a tad. So yeah, yesterday I was playing with plants. I like to try to keep plants alive. I have a palm over here and a couple other plants in my house, and it is a fun hobby of mine to try to keep them going on a regular basis. And if you don't know this, if you don't know my family, I I am born into a family of green thumbs. Like they can just keep anything alive. I swear my mother could grow anything. She could like pick up a stick and put it in dirt and it would just grow things. It's insane. I didn't get that. I didn't get that natural green thumb tendency. So they all kind of laugh at me, but I pull out technology and use it. So I use an app that tells me when to water all my plants, when to fertilize them, when to trim back their leaves or whatever the case is so that I can keep, good, healthy plants in my house. It's incredible. Like I've never had this much green growing around me. And it's an amazing thing to see. If you're wondering, the app is called Planta, Planta. And it has been incredible for me and actually really fun to work with. So yesterday, I was looking at the app, trying to figure out like, what do I need to do to keep all the plants alive today? And it says clean the leaves. And I was like, oh my goodness, how do you do this? So I'm like watching a little video and their instructions on how to clean the leaves. And I'm cleaning the leaves. And I swear my husband's probably looking at me like, she's really lost it this time. Like this is the moment. Everything broke and she really lost it. It's finally here. Because I probably looked like a crazy person, just like wiping down all the leaves, leaf by leaf, cleaning my little plants so they can get sun. So it's really fun. If you like plants but you struggle to keep them alive, I definitely encourage you to check out the app. It's really cool. So I'm not going to delay too much more. I'm going to go ahead and get into what we're here for today, whether you've joined me live or not, or you're maybe going to catch the replay later. I'm super excited about what we're going to talk about today. But first, let's kind of go back and kind of recap what are we even here for? What's the 5-day content calendar challenge? What is this all about? My for the past 5 days, I've been doing live videos, as most of you have seen, and it has been all about creating a plan for your content, because I firmly believe that by having a plan, and you need one, trust me, by having a plan, you're actually able to free up your brain to get really creative when the creative part of content creation comes in, right? Because now you have a plan to follow. I really think that strategy and the way your mind attacks strategy is way different than how it attacks content creation, and that those two should be two separate processes, and you should plan first and create second. And then I think, your third step there should be to implement, so that technology doesn't get in the way of the great words and the awesome imagery that you want to put out on your feed or in your email newsletters. So that's I kind of wrote down, what are the two things I want someone to walk away from in this challenge? And what the first one was that you actually need a plan, that there's a reason behind having a plan, and that by having one, it's going to actually make your life easier. The second one is that I wanted everyone to really understand you can plan. This is a thing that you can actually do, right? I maybe showed you several ways to approach it, or built you a template that you could follow, but I really want everyone to understand, even if you're not a planner, you can find processes. My way is one way of doing it, but there are so many other ways out there too, and you just need to keep trying until you find the one that connects with you. Or after you've tried some things on, you'll start to even develop your own way of doing things, which is super exciting, because then you actually get excited to dive into that process because it's hand tailored for you, right? So those are the two things. You need a plan, and you can actually plan for your content. So today, for the last day of the challenge, I really wanted to kind of switch things up a little bit, because I know several of you who have been following this at this stage, you're thinking, great, okay, I can plan. I need a plan. I'll get a rhythm down for that, right? You'll start working on that. But when it comes to actually creating the content, how do you do that in a way that makes sense for you and your business? And the word that kept coming up to me was awesome, authenticity. Was authenticity, right? So I kept thinking about being authentic in the message that you're putting out, and that's really what everyone is striving for. So how do we be authentic with our brand? So that's what we're going to talk about today. I'm going to dive right into that. And the first way that I want to talk about this is to find your why again. One of the ways that you can be really authentic in your brand is to really know, why are you here? And I'm sure a lot of you have done some sort of personal development work, or you've thought about what your why is for you personally, but this is a little bit different. They're very similar, but a little bit different. I'm talking about, why does your brand exist? right? You may know why you get up every day and hustle, which could be to feed your family, to send your kids to school, whatever the why is for you, to have a different life than how you were raised. We all have driving factors that get us out of bed in the morning and get us going, right? But that could be our why for going to work at a corporate office. That could be our why for being a nice person, right? That we want to do things differently. So this is really about, why does your brand exist? Why did you choose to do this thing? Why is this the thing? Why is this the product that you want to sell over something else? Why is this the business that you created when you could have done anything, right? So I want you to think through that. Why do you even exist as a business? Why are you here, right? Okay, the next one that I want you to think about when it comes to being authentic with your brand is to get crystal clear about what you offer, right? So many of us want to just kind of go right into the selling part, go right into the doing business part, that we kind of skip a step along the way, right? We maybe start off and say, I design things. So, okay, who wants to hire me to design things, right? Or I sell home decor. Who wants to hire me for that, right? But what I've found is that it's really often that a lot of really incredible business owners just struggle to talk about themselves and what they offer and what what they sell, how to actually buy from them. And this is what I like to call foundational work. So this foundational work is about your pricing. What products do you sell? What packages do you have that put into? What are your policies? When somebody goes to work with you, what are the policies that they need to adhere to or agree with, right? Or what are your turnaround times? What is this foundational work that actually makes your business tick, right? It's the nuts and bolts of what you're doing. Now, once you know that, and you have that down like the back of your hand, it becomes so much easier to do the marketing part, which is basically prepping people to decide if they're right for you or not. They're looking to find alignment, and that's what marketing does. So if you're jumping right into sales, but you don't have packages for people to offer or to purchase, or you don't have a way for them to book with you that's easy, maybe you don't have a way to take a credit card payment online, those are all really important aspects of your business. And if you don't have those parts down pat, it's going to be so much harder to talk about yourself and what you do. Okay, the next one, and this is one of my favorite things to talk about, is to find something to be known for, right? So when I first started freelancing after I quit my corporate job, I was told by like every expert that I asked for advice, right, that I needed to niche into something. Niche, we don't know how it's said, whatever you choose. I'm going to say it in the Oklahoma way that I was raised, and I'm going to call it a niche. So they all told me you need to niche down into being either a web designer or a branding designer or social media only. And in my mind, I was thinking, did I just spend the last, 7 years or whatever developing a skill set in all of these different areas to turn around and throw it away? And I'm not even going to use all of those skills that I worked so hard to build. And I just couldn't do it. I couldn't wrap my head around it. But now that I'm this far along, right? Now that I've been doing this for a while and I've been helping other companies find their marketing voice, what I've found is that the thing that's so much important to me, instead of finding your niche, is to find something to be known for. So ask yourself this question: what am I actually known for as an organization? What is my business known for? And if you can't figure this out in a single answer, right? You may be known for a lot of things, but if you can't name off one thing that's really important for you to be known for, I'm going to argue that you probably need to do a little work in this area. And I like to give the example of Tom's Shoes. So Tom's Shoes is known for giving away a pair of shoes when you buy one, right? They're going to help kids in need. They're going to help people who don't have great shoes. They're going to give a pair of shoes away every time you make a purchase of a pair of shoes. They actually kind of started that give one, buy one kind of situation, right? And that's the thing that they're known for. Right? Yeah. Do they offer all kinds of different shoes? Sure. Do they sell to men and women and kids? Definitely. But the thing that they're known for is giving shoes to people who need them. The other example I love when it comes to this is Life Water, right? You go to the convenience store, you're on a road trip, and you're looking through the water counter or the water little cabinet thing, and you're saying, which of the waters do I want to buy and I want to drink today? So you get like Dasani, which is blue and it's pretty, and you get, maybe some of the like Fiji water and stuff, which has the pretty background on it. But Life Water, when you come across the Life Water packaging, they are known for giving a space for the arts to exist in everyday things, right? So it's a bottle of water, right? But everyone is colorful and bright, or even the monochromatic ones have really cool patterns on them, and they all are tagged with the name of an artist who created that artwork that's on your bottle. So they're known for taking something like the arts and bringing it into something that you're likely going to purchase anyways. That's what they're known for. And they have given a lot of artists a stage that wouldn't have existed otherwise, which I think is very cool. So think about this. You may need to do a little bit of soul searching, but what is the thing that your business is known for? And I will also say that you may not be at a stage in business right now where you can figure this part out. Right? We just talked about that foundation of what do you offer, who do you serve, that kind of thing. And if you don't know the answers to some of those questions, you may be in a stage right now where this needs some work, and that you need to put in some work to find that thing that you're known for. But I want to let you know that's okay. Businesses don't just come out of the woodworks and just know what they're known for. It's something that evolves over time, but it should be something that you're actively striving for. If you don't have the thing that you're known for yet, that should be something that you are hitting hard on a regular basis until you figure it out. Okay. The next thing is get to know your ideal customer. And those of you who have listened to a lot of marketing experts before are probably going, wah, wah, everyone talks about an ideal customer. I get it. I really get it. But let me say that if you cannot create a successful brand without a customer. You have to have someone who buys from you, right? That's why we're in business, to sell things, right? To put food on the table, to keep the lights on. Yeah, that's why we're here. But you can't do that without someone on the other side of your business doing business with you. And then when it comes to creating an authentic brand, you definitely have to know who that customer is, or you're never going to find that authenticity. So where a lot of companies go wrong here is they like to say, we're for everyone. Our product is so great. Our service is amazing. We could do business for everyone. Yes, you could do business for everyone, but should you? Probably not. So take a minute to think about who your ideal client is. Now, I was on a call yesterday with a business owner, and I explained it in this way. A lot of people are really scared to narrow down an ideal client because they think by doing that, they're going to leave a lot of people out, and it's actually going to limit the business that they can bring in. But this is so far from the truth, because when you get really clear about your customer, it's actually so much easier for people to find themselves in your brand. So if you catch a really wide net, most likely no one will feel touched and heard. But if you narrow your focus into who your ideal customer is, now you're starting to really wrap your arms around people and love on them and tell them, I see you, I want to do business with you for these reasons. Okay, so while you are, in this ideal customer lane, you're marketing to this person that's right here. That also doesn't mean that the person from over here isn't going to join you, right? Or isn't going to join you here. Right? I was talking to a personal trainer, and she's working with people who are ready to make a massive transformation in their life. However, that doesn't mean that she doesn't have people over here who aren't ready yet for that massive transformation, but they may be ready in a month. They may be ready in 6 months. They may be ready in a year. So because you're narrowing your focus here doesn't mean that this person over here isn't going to jump in and do business with you anyways. Okay. So when it comes to marketing and your ideal customer, the goal here is that you're trying to find these customers that are like your people, right? You know, when you meet a friend and you just feel like your heart got touched, right? Or you meet your soulmate and it just feels like this was meant to be, right? So your ideal customer, it should feel like this great two-way relationship. They should be excited to buy from you. They should be the person who's like tagging you in every recommendation post, who is shouting your name from the rooftops, who's talking about you 24/7 because they just can't help but to tell their friends about it, right? Have you ever been to a new restaurant and you're like, that was the most amazing meal, right? Or their chocolate cake was just to die for. And you're immediately posting on Instagram and you're telling your friends on Facebook and you're recommending it the next time a friend needs a date out or a date night out, or you're texting several friends about it, you're telling your parents, right? And it becomes this thing that you just can't stop talking about. So when you've found that ideal customer for you, this is what we're working to create, right? We're working with marketing tools and tactics to end up creating a synergy between you and them. So keep in mind when it comes to marketing, one of my favorite phrases is, it's not about you, but it's all about them. So in the world of social media and people who are very much over marketed too, right? How many ads do we have popping up everywhere? How many different marketing things are coming at us every day to try to get us to buy from them? So buyers are really just looking for that place where they feel safe and understood. My advice is to be obsessed with them. Seriously, fall in love with them, fall in love with helping them, fall in love with connecting with them and with what you bring to the table that's actually doing something in their lives. You're here to make an impact on people. You're not here just to sell something to end up keeping your lights on, but you're here, you're made for something that's bigger, right? So how are you making an impact on these people? How are you changing their lives? Be obsessed with that. Really make that a huge part of your business. This is what creates authenticity, because when you found that synergy, you're not just blowing smoke, right? You mean it at the end of the day. This is something that's important to you. Okay, so the next one, and this is one of my favorites to talk about, is don't be embarrassed by the stage of business that you're in. I am constantly working with startups or new businesses that are saying, how do I look bigger? Right? I've had people ask me if they should create fake email addresses and fake phone numbers for people who don't work there, right? So that they could feel bigger, so that people will think that they're bigger than they are. But I firmly believe that the universe wants you to succeed, right? Somebody out there has got your back, and they want you to find your people. So they're going to give you the right people at the right stage, right? You may not be ready to work with a massive project or a massive business because you're just getting started. That's perfectly fine. But if you never put yourself out there, if you never start the thing, if you never talk about what it is you bring to the table, you'll never even find that first person to work with you who is just perfectly fine with you being in the stage of business that you're in, right? I was so scared whenever I first started freelancing that I would be asked a question that I didn't know. And finally, I figured out, you know what? I am good at what I do, and I can show up, and it is okay for me to say, I maybe don't know the answer to something, and that's perfectly fine. So one of my favorite pieces of advice is just don't be embarrassed by the stage of business that you're in. Be okay with it. The next one is to do the soul work. If there's anything I've talked about so far that you're sitting there saying, I just don't know the answers to these questions. I just don't know how to find that ideal customer. I don't know how I'm impacting people's lives. I don't even know for sure what products I sell or what products I should sell, right? This is where I encourage you to do a little bit of personal development work, to dive in a little bit, to look inward and figure out, why are you here? Why are you here? Why are you doing what you're doing, right? It is so important for us to make this connection behind our mission in life, why we're actually here, and our business. The two go hand in hand. They're not separate. You didn't choose to show up at a 9 to 5 every day and then flip a switch and become a home life person later, right? To where you're a total different person. You chose to be an entrepreneur. You chose to build a life that you're happy with, to build that business that you've always wanted, to build that work environment or invent the product or do services differently because you saw a need for it, right? So it's really important that you do this soul work to figure out, why are you here? And why are you doing this thing that you're doing? And this is the best way I've ever found to be able to get really clear about where my business is headed. Okay, so yes, Kimberly, I'm so glad this is resonating with you. I was writing this up and I was like, these are my tips and tricks. I love it. Okay, so the last one here, and we're going to get into some specifics of how you actually do this, but is to put the you back in your business. I really want you to hear that loud and clear. Put the you back in your business. So important. No one will ever be as passionate about the thing that you do. Nobody, right? No one can create the kind of energy around what it is that you sell or what it is that you create. No one. You can. So you are in this position for a reason. But the other thing is that gone are the days of faceless companies, right? Even when Facebook goes down, we're all posting memes like, dang it, Zuckerberg, what did you do, right? However, he wasn't the one sitting behind the computer writing the code that caused that issue. I almost guarantee it, right? But we want, as a society, to make connections with people. We want to, feel that we're really in it for the right reasons, that we're connecting, that we're people who crave that. So gone are the days of faceless companies. Everyone's wanting to see that person on the other side of things. I was having a conversation with some family members the other day, and they were saying, we don't know so and so as the State Farm insurance company. We know them as Mike, right? Mike, the insurance guy, and he's going to sell us the insurance. That's the kind of relationship that people want to have with you. They want to be able to make this connection with who you are. This is so important. So it's time to stop hiding who you are. It's time to show up and represent what it is that you do. It's time to pull people in to your journey. They want to be along the journey with you. They want to be there for you. They want to cheer you on. They want to support you. They want to connect with you. But if you're never showing up and showing them who you are and who the driving force behind this company is, then you're missing it. You're missing that connection that you could have. And I'll be really honest, but that connection is a lot of the times what really, really does get me out of bed in the mornings. So I know that that's a scary thing to do, right? And I know a lot of people will say, I'm just not comfortable having my picture taken as much as you, or I'm not comfortable speaking on video. Guys, I didn't wake up this way. It took me a really long time. It's all about those baby steps for what you're comfortable with right now. And there's no perfect way to do it. There's no perfect picture. You don't have to look at your neighbor and think about how they would do it. How would you do it? If you were going to make a connection with a person in person right now, What would that conversation look like? How would those words come out of your mouth, right? Would you text them? Would you email them? Who are you? How do you operate? Bring that aspect to your business. Are you the type that's going to hold their hand and cry with them? Bring that aspect to your business. Are you the type that, is going to send them gorgeous flowers the next day after they've had a crazy day? Bring that aspect of gift giving and appreciation to your business. They want to know you, they want to connect with you. And it makes such a difference in the sales that you get at the end of the day, but it also makes such a difference in just having a deeper connection with your business and what you're working towards every day. It feels less like work at that point. It feels more like your calling, to be honest. Okay. So now I want to talk about my favorite method of writing, because we talked a lot about philosophy. We stayed in this space where we were talking about how to be authentic, which is kind of lofty, right? It's some work that has to be done, but there's no perfect answer to how you actually do it. So I wanted to also bring into this video some specifics, because I don't like watching things where at the end of it, you're going, okay, but you didn't give me anything that I could turn around and actually use. So today I want to go through my favorite method of writing, which is the pastor method by Ray Edwards. So I'm going to get this refreshed here because my comments went away. Okay, so Mr. Ray Edwards wrote the book, How to Write Copy That Sells. You can grab it on Amazon. You guys, can you even see how many sticky notes are in this book? It was one of my favorites. I reference it all the time. I read it and then I used it as a reference book. So incredible book that someone introduced me to, and I'm forever grateful for it. But there is one thing in particular that I have taught to several people that has been extremely helpful in their business. And it really helps when I'm tackling writing content, right? Because writing is really hard sometimes because we have blank page syndrome and we don't actually know how to just dive in and get the thing done. So I am going to whiteboard this for you. Here we go. Okay. So we have a little whiteboard here, and I'm going to outline for you what is the pastor method of writing. Okay, maybe we can make this bigger. Ah, I knew there was a way. One day we'll figure out all the awesome features of Zoom. Okay, so the pastor method of writing is one of my favorite ways to tackle content because it's just so easy. I'm going to show you. Okay, so the P stands for state the problem. Okay, then the A is agitate the problem. S stands for what is the solution? And T is testimonials or social proof. Make sure I'm spelling things right. O is for offer. And R is for remind or response. Okay. So I really love this because when I found this method of writing, I was like, oh, it's an outline. It's an outline that I can actually use for content. So the basis of where this came from was how to write a sales letter, right? He's teaching you in the book how to write a sales letter, which a long time ago, we used to type up letters and mail them to people. That doesn't necessarily happen anymore, but the same principles can carry through to email marketing, to blogging, to writing content for your web pages. And then you can actually break this in pieces for shorter form content for your social media. So what are we talking about? Problem. What is problem all about, right? I really like to base a lot of my marketing message around the problems that my clients run into, that my potential clients run into. And this really goes back to knowing who your customer even is, right? So in my business, this looks a little bit like a few different ways. It's really hard to trust a marketing person, right? Because we always can't give you a direct result, or sometimes it's a long-term solution that we're bringing to the table, not always a quick and easy turnaround. And the ones that are advertising a quick and easy turnaround are sometimes blowing smoke, right? So it doesn't feel great to try to find the right person to tackle your marketing. So that's a problem, right? That's just being able to trust someone, being able to understand that they really do have your back, all of those things. But I would also say problems can be really simple. So maybe you're a photographer, and one of the problems is, how the heck do I get my husband to a photo shoot, right? I'm sure so many of us have run into that situation, but it is sometimes really hard to convince guys to get all dressed up and stand in the middle of a park where everybody's looking at them and have their picture taken. It's not the easiest thing in the world. So that's a problem. If I'm your client, right, I'm your person that you're going after to try to get family Christmas pictures taken, and my husband won't come along, that's a problem. So state the problem. Be really clear about what it is that your people are facing right now. This could be time, this could be money, you could offer payment plans, you're talking about that. It could be any problem. Honestly, you don't even have to have an answer to it. You can just show up empathetically. You don't have to have an exact solution. So your problem could be a little bit more philosophical. One of mine is freelancers are often known, creative freelancers like designers and writers are often known for not always having the best financial sense. And I sadly am one of them, but I study, but I do it, and I show up and I learn things, right? And I tackle it better than I did yesterday. And the problem there is that sometimes the creative brain is known for not functioning on the left side very easily. That's a problem. I don't have a solution for that. For the freelancers that I work with, I don't have a solution, but I can show up and tell them I understand your problem, right? Okay, so A is for agitate the problem. So if we're stating the problem, hey, your husband probably doesn't even want to show up for this photo shoot. How do you get your husband to come in and take family pictures that you haven't had taken in the last 4 years, right? So you're agitating the problem. Don't let those memories go to waste. Document them, right? Get them, get those memories, get them printed, put them up on your walls, because that is what we're living for, right? We're agitating this problem and we're saying we can figure out the husband problem, right? But we're saying don't let it go any further. So whatever your version of agitation is. S is for solution. What is your solution? So if we go back to this photographer's example, maybe the solution is 20-minute sessions, right? Maybe the solution is 20-minute sessions plus a gift card to get beer afterwards, right? That's like ultimate goals. So it's like, yeah, I bought the session and she partnered with the brewery down the street. So we're going to go for 20 minutes. We're going to have a couple pictures taken, but there's a huge reward at the end of the day. All the guys in this group are like, oh man, she said it. Okay. T is for testimonials or social proof. Do you have proof of this? Maybe you got a testimonial from one of those husbands that's like, my session with so-and-so was so easy. Not to say I'm going to do them every year, but maybe my wife could convince me to do it a little more often. Or social proof. Maybe you're just screenshotting what someone's commented or tagged you in. Maybe you're giving a case study of something that's worked in the past. Social proof. How do you kind of prove or show that this solution is great, right? O is for offer. Let's not forget that we're in business to do business. So O, offer, is talking about what is it actually that you're trying to sell them, right? Are you trying to sell them that 20-minute session? Are you trying to sell them to sign up for your newsletter if you're that empathetic voice, right? To say, I'm a freelancer too, and finances are not necessarily my thing either. So we're going to show up and talk about that together. So O could mean a lot of different things. It could mean that they're purchasing something from you, but you could also be asking for a social media follow or a sign up for your newsletter, or something even more simple than what a typical sales offer would look like. Okay, so R is for remind or response. So this is where you could ask for a response. You could ask them to reply to you and tell you about their story, or fill in your husband's email address and we'll disguise this session as a beer outing, whatever the case is, right? But the other one here is for remind. So you can actually just kind of recap what you talked about in the content prior and summarize it up for them. So remind them, what did we just go over? Husbands suck at going to photo shoots. And then this is keeping you from having awesome memories of your kids. But I have a solution because my shoots with families are only 20 minutes and surely your husband can handle 20 minutes, right? And then check this out. All these guys are loving these sessions because they're so easy and it keeps their wife happy, right? Happy wife, happy life. And then all you have to do is click here and schedule your appointment. It's going to cost you X dollars. You're going to get this many digitals with it, or whatever the case is, right? What is your offer? And then you're going to say, great, let's get started. Give them a call to action. Tell them don't delay. Maybe this special only lasts for, the next 6 months or whatever. I don't know. Okay. So this is one of my favorite methods of writing. So I hope that you'll check out Ray Edwards' book, but two, I hope that you'll try this at some point. Once I realized this and I started using this as an outline for a lot of my content, such as emails that go out, blog posts that go up. Do I vary from it? Yes, of course. I vary it up and do all kinds of stuff, but it gives me this outline to follow to at least get started and get past that thought of a blank page that I have to fill in, right? Sometimes I'll just write out pastor at the top of my Google Doc. I'll fill in notes for these different areas and then I'll start writing, and it makes my life so much easier. Okay, so I wanted to share that with you all. Now, the other thing I wanted to share while I was prepping for this, I was thinking through what are some of the best pieces of advice that I've gotten around writing. I am all for being a knowledge broker. I don't know everything. I am actually kind of a knowledge junkie. I love to read. My goal is 100 books this year. I don't think I'm going to get there. It's going to be like 75, but I'm constantly reading or listening to audiobooks or podcasts or signing up for free webinars or doing workbooks or worksheets, or I just love learning. I've always loved learning. So this being said, I don't think that every idea that I share with you has to be mine. I am all for pointing you to resources that are incredible. So one of my favorite authors, speakers, just general people is Marie Forleo, and I have her book here too. Everything is figure outable, and she is the inventor of B School, which is an online business school that opens once a year that you can join. So she's incredible. Man, I watched her speak on the Rise Business stage, and it was fire. Like I was just eating up I don't even know how many notes I wrote. It was just incredible. But one of the things that I really love about her, if we're speaking about this idea of being authentic in your message and authentic in your brand, she is that for sure. She is funny. She shows up and she is herself. She's silly. She's cried with people on Marie TV on YouTube. And I love that. She's not trying to show up and be perfect all the time. She's really instead trying to show up and connect with people. So when COVID first hit, there were so many authors and teachers giving away free online mini courses because they were trying to figure out, how to wrap their head around pivoting their business and at the same time wanted to show up well for their audiences. So I ate that stuff up. I signed up for as many of them as I could, but I signed up for one of hers, which was actually a Marie Forleo Teaches writing class, and it was fun. So, but one of the things is that she gave her 5 top writing mistakes that she sees. And you guys, I can't say this better. I can't say this better than these 5 that she wrote down, because they are just the best writing mistakes that I think I've ever heard anyone outline. So I'm just going to share them with you. Her first one is that your writing is too self-centered. So this goes back to that idea that I was saying, your marketing shouldn't be about you. It should be about them. People connect with great writing when they can see themselves in this picture that you're explaining to them, right? They want to be able to connect and find themselves in the message that you're putting out. So if your writing is too self-centered, if you're writing your content like a resume, stop that and instead get focused on who you're speaking to and write to them. Okay. The second one is you sound like a robot. And I love this one because she gave some really fun examples, but one that popped in my mind today was, if I was going to text one of my girlfriends and ask her to go get drinks with me tonight, I'm not going to say, Madam Chloe, will you please come with me at 8 p.m. to blah, 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 a formal invitation type of text message. I'm going to say, hey girl, you want some drinks? Like, I'm going to be at this place at 8. Are you in? That's how I'm going to talk. So don't sound like a robot, right? People are not looking for perfectionism in what you put out. People are looking to feel like they get it. And no one talks that way. No one talks like a robot. Nobody ever says anything in like the perfect way that you should say it. So don't sound like a robot in your writing. Be yourself instead. Okay, the third one that she said is, you're too clever. I love this. I work with so many people that are saying, yeah, but don't we need to be like super creative about what we're saying? Like, shouldn't we throw in all these like funny puns or descriptions that are way out of left field that will make us stand out and make us unique? No, don't do that, because because what you're doing in the process is losing clarity. So you're putting cleverness over clarity. And how quick do you scroll social media, right? How fast do you need to be able to read an email before you move on to the next one? So it's so important. It's more important to be clear in the message that you're putting out than to be cute or clever. The fourth one that she said is, your headlines are an afterthought. Now, this one really spoke to me because I read it when she was talking about it and I said, yep, my headlines kind of are an afterthought. I'm totally guilty of that. So she actually said to write like 20 to 50 email subject lines for every email that you're sending out and pick the best one. But while I never got in a habit of writing that many for every one, what I did get in a habit of is writing more than one, right? Instead of just writing the first subject line that came to mind or the first title for my blog post that came to mind, I instead wrote several, went back, got some feedback, and picked the one that was the most compelling. So what I kind of took away from this is just don't settle for your first headline or subject line that you write. Give it a go to try to come up with some other things that might hit a little bit harder for people. Okay, the last tip that she gave out was, you don't begin with the end in mind. And this comes from doing some of that soul work, for knowing why you're here, for knowing what your goals are. Because if you aren't writing, if you aren't putting this effort into writing in a way that you're getting to a goal, that you're actually going to achieve something at the end of the day, it sounds disjointed. And your customers will pick up on that. They'll pick up on the fact that, maybe you're having a sale, but you haven't figured out when it ends. You haven't figured out how much you could get off. You're just basically saying, hey, I think I'm gonna have a sale at some point. And your customers are like, great, you should do that. When does it start? I don't know. So you have to write with the end in mind, write with those goals in mind. Get the foundational nuts and bolts together before you dive into the writing part, to the creative part. Okay. So I was super excited to share those main things with you: the Pastor Method of Writing by Ray Edwards and Marie Forleo's 5 writing mistakes, which you can look up online, or if I remember, I'll pop the infographic in the comments for you. Okay, so before I leave you, because I've been talking for a long time, I wanted to share with you the biggest mistake that I feel people make when it comes to branding and marketing. So the biggest mistake that I find that people run into is that they're treating it like a one and done project, right? That they maybe did their website this year, or they did their website 10 years ago and they didn't touch it for 10 years, right? They said, okay, I need to hire a logo designer and I'm gonna get my logo made, but their brand completely pivots 3 years later and it's doing something completely different. And they never go back to look and see, does that still resonate with your audience, right? So, I believe that your brand is a living, breathing thing, right? I just talked about how your customers want to make connection with you and your brand and what you do. And it's really important to treat your brand that way. It's really important to look at it as an active living thing instead of a project that you checked off a list and never went back to. Okay, so the thing that I want to leave you with, the last little challenge piece in our challenge, is to take out your schedule right now. Right now, really, like we all have phones. Take out your schedule. And I want you to schedule yourself a date with your brand. I do. I want you to ask it 20 questions. I want you to dive into a branding project that you've never seen before. I have a brand audit guide on my website. You could use that if you don't have a tool to use. I want you to actually sit down and focus for an hour on your brand. Is your brand conveying itself the way that you want it to? Is your brand connecting with your customers the way that it needs to? I want you to pay attention to it. It's begging for your attention. And honestly, it deserves it. We've seen so many companies do really well in the beginning and then just die after a while, right? But the thing is that a brand that sustains itself for a long time is constantly looking inward and saying, how can I be better? So I want you to make that date with your brand, and I want you to sit down and I want you to think about, where are you right now? Where's your brand right now? Is everything aligning? If things aren't aligning, then we maybe need to take a step back and figure some things out. Now, as much as I would love to be that person for you, if I'm not, perfectly fine. I'm on a mission here to show small business owners and entrepreneurs that you can do this, right? Marketing is not this weird, elusive thing that you'll never figure out one day. Marketing actually is about this thing, authenticity. So this kind of work, regularly looking at your brand, working on yourself, making sure that you stand out, that you put the you back in your business, that you're not embarrassed to be in the stage that you're in, right? Working on the nuts and bolts foundation. These are the things that drive true authenticity in your message for you and in what you do, in the way that your customers connect with you. So I hope that this message today resonated with someone. So I want to let you know that while all of the moving pieces of building a business, or even working on your content, right? Creating a plan and figuring out how the heck Facebook works can be so overwhelming. But if you're really connected with who you are, what you do, what you're putting out, it really feels less overwhelming. You're like, I'm on a mission. I'm going to get it. I'm going to get it done regardless. Yes, Kimberly, date with your brand. I'm really excited. I should make that a thing. I'm going to use that on something else. Okay, so that is all that I have for you today. Thank you for those of you who joined me live. If you didn't, no worries. I'm sure you enjoyed this replay. So I will see you all for our rescheduled Q&A. It's been rescheduled for 4:30 on Tuesday. So yeah, I'm really excited to dive into some questions that people have around building content or planning their content, or even this topic, which you can tell I'm super in love with, finding authenticity in your brand. So that's all I have for you. Happy Friday. I hope that everyone has a fantastic weekend, and I'll see you very soon.